I'm alive. Welcome back for another stream, everyone. How are we all doing today? Gameweek 10 has just wrapped up, and Wolves beat Everton 2-1. And that is it. Gameweek 10 is over. Jimenez on the score sheet tonight. Hwang, unfortunately, not. How's everyone's Gameweek 10? Green arrow or red arrow? Cheekster says, insane rank, well done. Captain says, Conte might give Kane back his desire and hunger for goals. Yeah, interesting one, Kane. He might, obviously Nuno's out, he's been sacked, and there's rumours that Conte is the one coming in. And if that is the case, I think Kane and Son could emerge as options, genuinely. Kobe, how you doing? We got your Nan in the chat, Cheekster. Halid in the chat, 74th overall. That's incredible. So obviously, right now, the title of the stream is ranked 122nd. That's my current rank. I didn't have anyone playing tonight, so I think I'll probably end up on something like 300th after tonight's games. Mohammed's on a red arrow. Yanan's on a green arrow. Daniel's on a red 45. Green arrow for Plug OGS. Yeah, it was a pretty lucky game at 10, if I'm honest. James obviously getting the 2 goals and the clean sheet. I had Ramsdale, who obviously kept a clean sheet as well, despite Leicester having an XG of 1.98. Smith Rowe obviously came through again. Rafinha came through. Salah, who was about 200% effective ownership in the top 10k. I think just about everywhere, actually. He came with 10 points. I benched Livramento. I said in past streams that he'd probably come back to bite me if I bench him, and he did. So it was a 6 pointer for Livramento on my bench. In hindsight, I should have started him over Diaz. I may well end up getting rid of Diaz. Undecided yet, but I'll talk about that in a bit. And obviously Adam Armstrong, I put him last on my bench and he got an assist, so 5 points from him. I did wonder whether he would start or not, because obviously Armstrong, because Broja was out injured, so I wondered if Armstrong would come to the starting 11. I'm actually considering a bench boost for Game Week 12, which I'll talk about a bit later. I know it's very common to use it in the double game week, the bench boost, but I actually think there's an argument to be made for using it in a single game week, because, you know, if you're using it in a double game week, then you're going to basically use all your transfers, or your wildcard's going to be geared towards having a stacked bench. And more often than not, I've found in my experience is that if you're bench boosting in a double, what happens often is players don't play in the second game week anyway, that sort of thing, and you end up spending a lot of money on your bench late in the season when you want to be focusing on maximising your points in your starting 11. So I don't know, I might actually try it this season. I've been trying out a few new things and it's been working so far. Simio, how you doing, mate? Green out for Kobe. Yanaz says, wish I played Livramento as Saka, to be honest. So many unexpected blanks. Yeah, there was. Obviously, there's loads more I haven't mentioned, like Azpilicueta. Didn't even... I don't think he made the squad or didn't come on. But yeah, a lot of unexpected blanks. Foden, another one. Antonio, disappointed again. Alexander-Arnold, didn't expect that in that Brighton game. Obviously, Man City losing 2-0 to Crystal Palace. That was a big shock. With Laporte getting the red card. Halid says, hi FPL Focal, before tonight's game I was 74th overall, and I have Jimenez tonight. Wow, absolutely smashing it, Halid. What's your rank now? You're definitely above me. I was 122nd going into tonight. I don't know if you can see, I'll show you my phone. I took a screenshot because I don't know if I'll ever hit a rank this high again. But yeah, 122nd. Which is the highest I've ever been, by the way, so I'm enjoying it while it lasts, because I don't know if it will. But I'm in a difficult position for the next game week. I don't know what I'm actually going to do with my team. I'm honestly not sure who to start, who to move on. I'm currently leaning towards selling Diaz or Reguilon, if Conte does come in. Charfy sold James to Chilwell. Oh, nightmare. Nightmare, Charfy. That's a very sideways move, to be honest. Very sideways move. But on another day, you know, Chilwell hauls and James gets the 8-pointer, I think it was, that Chilwell got. Alex says, are you tempted by James and Chilwell double up? I am tempted. I'm also tempted to do Diaz to Reguilon. So I think my moves will be either Diaz to Chilwell or Diaz to Reguilon. If I do Diaz to Reguilon, then it does give me the flexibility to go Norman to Son, or I can move any of my strikers to Kane. So I'm quite liking the regular move, and that's assuming, of course, that Conte is the one that comes in, because I think he will definitely shore them up defensively compared to how they've looked so far. Phil, evening, how you doing, mate? Yeah, Jimenez tonight, well played. Marcus says, looking at your team, you'll probably get another green next week. Double Arsenal versus Watford could haul. Yeah, let me get up my... I'm looking for next game week. There we go. So this is me for game week 11. I do have a bit of a benching nightmare on my hand, because it looks like it's probably going to be Livramento benched again. I'm probably going to bench Diaz. Diaz might be the one that leaves the team, not sure. But yeah, tough one of what to do here. I guess there's a lot of you with Antonio. What are you guys doing with Antonio in game week 11? Are you starting him? Or are you benching him for someone like Livramento? I think I might start him, if I'm honest. I know he's scored 2 in his last 5. And, you know, he had a very explosive start to the season in his first 3. But I still think Antonio's probably worth starting. Playing at home as well. And obviously Liverpool play midweek in the Champions League against Atletico Madrid. So I think Liverpool will play a full strength 11 there. So maybe something that West Ham could capitalise on. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for tuning into the stream. Good to have you here. We got Ahmed, Alex, Baden, Chafi, Daniel, Khalid, James, Kobe, Last King, Maki, Marcus, Mohammed, Noah, Phil Wright, Simio, Sue, and Yunan. It's always Yunan in last, and it makes me laugh when I finish on saying, and we got Yunan here. Anyway, on to some of the news from this game week. Obviously, the big news is, of course, that Nuno Espirito Santo and his coaching staff have all been relieved of their duties. So that's it, gone, sacked in other words. And as we were saying, it looks like Conte is the most likely manager destined to take over. And it's something we should definitely pay attention to, not just because, you know, there's the potential new manager bounce. Conte could shore them up defensively, so maybe a player like Reguilon or Emerson could emerge as options. Son and Kane could also emerge as options. You know, last season Conte had Lukaku and Lautaro. Is it Lautaro? Lautaro Martinez playing up a striker for Inter Milan. They both did very well, hit double-digit goals. So could be good news for Son and Kane owners. But likewise, Spurs have very, very good fixtures from game week 11 onwards. So something else to pay attention to. We were talking about the blanks this game week, and of course the other one was Mason Mount, who missed out due to illness. There was no news before the deadline, non-COVID related, and he says he hopes to be fully recovered in the next couple of days. But he did miss out, Mason Mount, off the back of his hat-trick and assist against Norwich, and of course he was, I think, the most transferred in player. So this was the scout selection for Game Week 10. Can you guys guess how many points the scouts got? Have a guess how many points the scout got. I'll read out the names in case there's any audio listeners. So they had Melia in goal, interesting. In defence they had Trent, Cancelo and Chilwell. Captain Salah, Son, Havertz and Foden. And then up top Antonio, Hwang and King. Gotta be careful how I say that one, Hwang King. Kobe says, should I do Azpilicueta to James? Yeah, I don't dislike the move, if I'm honest. It does look a bit sideways on paper, but Azpilicueta's missed out a few times this season already, and yeah, James is cheaper and has a higher ceiling. Charpy asks a good question. He says, which do you prefer, Kane or Son? He says, I think Kane looks better because we can easily switch Kane to Ronaldo in game 15 or 16. Interesting. Son's obviously the player with the form. So right now I'd go Son personally, but it's hard to say really. We don't really know what the effect of the new manager will be. Conte's the sort of manager who could turn them around. Mohamed guesses 45, Yunan 64, 50 from Simeon. Isaac guesses 48, Baden 42, Michael 39, Kane 39. Yeah, it was a bad week for the scout. 39 points from the scout selection in Game Week 10. Not great considering they get a wild card every week. But it's something I like to track on the streams, just to see, you know, see how the experts do, so to speak. Evening, Billa. How you doing, mate? Christian says, what do you think of your move? Yeah, I'm not totally sure what my move's going to be yet, but one of the moves I'm considering is Diaz to Reguilon, or maybe Diaz to Chilwell. Reguilon, you know, I talked about the Spurs fixtures. I'll just jump over here to... There we go. Obviously, so far this season, Spurs haven't been great defensively. They kept the 3 clean sheets just about in the first 3 games, but not a single clean sheet since then. But yeah, Reguilon, a player last season, 6 assists. You know, if it is Conte that comes in, then Reguilon will play in left wing back. He'll be totally nailed there, so Reguilon could be a good option. And we're talking about the fixtures. After Gameweek 11, they've got Leeds at home, Burnley away, Brentford at home, and then Norwich at home. So 3 home games in 4. And then after that, they've got Brighton away as well. And yeah, like I say, if Conte is the one that comes in, then I can easily see a few clean sheets in there. And of course, last season at Inter, I forget the name of Inter's goalie now. He deserves the credit, as does Conte, but he won the Golden Glove. And obviously we saw from Conte's stint at Chelsea what a great defensive team they can be. So yeah, Reguilon could be an interesting one. So could Emerson. Definitely something I'm keeping an eye on. Well Lad says, thoughts on Antonio to Aubameyang? I'm still not convinced by selling Antonio, if I'm totally honest. I'll just pull up a tweet I posted earlier if I can find it while I'm live. So essentially here it is. Because I've been asked quite a bit about Antonio, and obviously he's got the 2 goals in his last 5 games after the explosive start he had in the first 3. However, over those last 5 games, he's still top among all forwards for expected goal involvement on 3.86 XGI. So, in my opinion, I think Antonio's a hold for now. You know, and 2 goals in 5, that's not really terrible either. That's still a respectable output in my opinion. So I think I would hold on to Antonio if you've got him. Connor says the top 100 videos are classmate. Thank you, Connor. Appreciate that a lot. Those are one of my favourites to edit. For anyone that doesn't know, I have a video series on my channel where I follow the top 100 all-time FPL managers. And basically the criteria is they need 7 top 10Ks or 4 top 1Ks in their rank history, which is obviously you know, an incredible rank history and very, very difficult to obtain. And yeah, each week I try and get one of the managers on, and yeah, I've only failed to get one on in one game week all season. So yeah, it's great to get them on as well and hear their thoughts. And this week it was Matt Corbidge. His average rank in the last 6 seasons is 5.6k, so incredible manager, and he gave a hell of an interview, I have to say. When I sent him the questions, I was actually still in Dublin for a holiday, and I thought I'd better get ahead of the curve here because you know, I want to have those answers ready for when I land back in England. So I sent him the questions, and yeah, he sent me a huge answer. It was fantastic answers. So yeah, I edited that together basically as soon as my plane landed yesterday. Arya says, picked up Reguilon for game week 2. Is that game week 12? Game week 2. Yeah, at the start of the season, Reguilon looked like a decent pick after they were keeping the clean sheets, but obviously Spurs dropped off and they've not been good. Is it Donnarumma or Handanovic? I forget who Inter's keeper was now. But yeah, I believe he won the Golden Glove under Conte. Christian says we don't want Spurs doing well. Yeah, I totally agree from an Arsenal perspective. So I'll put it this way. If they happen to do well, then I will be looking at probably Son or Kane. And if I do downgrade Diaz to Reguilon or Chilwell, then I can actually upgrade Norman straight to Son. I've got that much in the bank at the moment. I've got 5.6 and I just need a little bit more to get Son. Or I could go any of the front 3 to Kane. So I've got a few options there. Can you guys guess who the most transferred in player is for Game Week 11 so far? Obviously it's early, but there's been actually quite a lot of transfer activity. So can you guys guess the most transferred in player? Or if not, can you guess any of the others? Mo Kanita says, get Tony for Antonio. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I'm not convinced on selling Antonio. And Tony's been a frustrating one because the fixtures have turned very favourably, but he's not got anything yet. But of course he has Norwich in Game Week 11 at home, which is a very, very good fixture. And likewise, Gameweek 12, he's got Newcastle. So Tony, I still think, could come good. Daniel guesses Son. A lot of guesses for James. Millsy says Gallagher. Yeah, Gallagher's a great guess. Got the goal and the assist against Man City. The most transferred in player for Gameweek 11 is currently James indeed. Almost 400,000 have picked up James already. Huge amount of early transfers considering, you know, the Gameweek 10 only just finished tonight. Obviously, I'm streaming on Monday night at the moment, so very early to be making transfers. Something I've definitely been doing this season is being very patient with the transfers, and that's just something I've learned from doing the videos with the top 100 all-time managers. And some of you might have seen I did a video where I interviewed Fabio Borges, who's the greatest FPL manager of all time. And again, he said he doesn't look at price changes. You know, he doesn't make transfers because someone's going up or down, and he waits until the very last minute. And it's logical, you know. If you wait till the last minute, you've got the maximum amount of information that you can have in your hand. Whereas you transfer James out now, and you know, just look back 2 weeks ago. So Lukaku gets injured in the Champions League. You've made your transfer already. You know, you're absolutely screwed if someone goes and gets injured in the Champions League or Europa League, or what's the Spurs one? Europa Conference League. You know, if one of those players gets injured in your team, then you're in trouble. You could end up taking hits. You know, and you've tried to gain 0.1 and it's ended up costing you 4 points. There's no way that's a good deal. I don't know says FPL Focal, swap Tielemans for Smith Rowe or stick with Teal. I think I would. Who've Leicester got? I think I would stick with Tielemans because off the top of my head they got Leeds. And obviously Leeds, they've only kept one clean sheet all season, which was against Norwich. And Norwich are the worst in the league for expected goals, so logic says I would definitely stick with Tielemans right now. There could be goals in that game for sure. Vincent says, how's Fabio Borges doing? He's struggling actually. He's having a difficult season. I'm sure he'll turn it around. I mean, I say difficult for him. At the moment, he is 411k. He activated his wildcard in Gameweek 8. So, I mean, that's a platform for him to build on. Can you guys guess who the most transferred out players are for Gameweek 11? How many of them can you guess? Guesses in the chat. Most transferred out player. We've done the most transferred in. Smith Rowe was second. Over 250,000 have picked him up. Gallagher's there, obviously got the goal and the assist, and the fixtures don't look too bad. Ramsdale's there off the back of his 10-pointer. Livramento still looks great value for 4.4. ER Bro says, hey FPL Focal, how you doing? I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, another green arrow this game week, which I'm very happy about. Before I went live, I was 122nd overall rank. That's going to probably drop to something like 300th, but you know, I'm absolutely delighted to be that high up, I'll be honest. It's the highest I've ever ranked. So, yeah, I'm in a great mood. Penguin's in the chat. How you doing, Penguin? How was your game week 10? Most transferred out was actually Alonso, which makes perfect sense. Since Chilwell's coming to the side, I think he started 4 in a row. And Alonso's not seen a minute of Premier League football. Kovacic's second. Raya, obviously from Brentford. He's got the ligament injury, so he's out for, I think, 4 to 5 months. Interesting one, that Brentford game. Was it 3-1 they lost? Or 3-0? 3-1 I think it was. It was the first game without Raya. Fernandes came in goal. He's also 4.5 annoyingly, because that would have been great if he had another 4 mil keeper option. And yeah, they've been a pretty solid defensive side, but 3 goals with the first game of Raya out. So maybe there's an impact there. Lukaku obviously appears here. Aspilicueta's here. Pogba's here. He's suspended, obviously. Mason Mount, 70k have dropped him. He missed out with illness. Ben Rama. Surprising to see him as well, actually, because of course he got his goal, didn't he? Thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. If you are enjoying the stream, do hit like and obviously subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Get involved in the chat. Tim's donated. He says, well done mate with the overall rank. Like and subscribe everyone. Oh, he's beat me to it. Tim beat me to it. Yeah, you heard it first from Tim. Like and subscribe. Tim, if I'm not mistaken, I think you've got James, don't you? So you must be happy with that one. What a high ceiling player he's been so far. 21 points in Game Week 10, 13 points in Game Week 9, 18 points in Game Week 2. He got the assist in Game Week 3, so he's had, just working out now, four goals and 2 assists, and those all came in starts. The other appearances he made were off the bench. So that's crazy, especially that Liverpool game where he went off injured in the 47th. So hopefully James can continue playing. Obviously Azpilicueta is the other player who can play in right wing back. But yeah, like I say, I wouldn't make any early moves, everyone. Keep an eye on the Champions League and what happens there. Ideally, I'd like to see Azpilicueta in right wing back. Who have Chelsea got in the Champions League this week? Trying to remember now. Liverpool have got Atletico Madrid. I think West Ham have got Genk in the Europa League. And Man City have got Club Brugge. They're playing at home, so that's good. Don't have to travel. And then, of course, in Game Week 11, they don't have to travel much further. They play Man United away at Old Trafford. Oh, Malmo. Okay. Stuart asks a good question. He says, would you start Armstrong over Antonio? That's a really tough one. I think I would start Armstrong, just barely, but I think it'd also depend on the Broja use. Is it Broja? Or Broja? Broja news. I'm terrible with the names. I think it would depend on the news there. If he's going to be out again, then it looks very likely that Armstrong plays. That said, Armstrong had a very good game. I watched some of the highlights and how he linked up with Che Adams, and they looked very, very good together. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the same strike duo again, Che Adams and Armstrong. The movement was brilliant. So I think I'd be tempted to start Armstrong. It's a real headache again, Game Week 11. There's so many good bench options this season. It looks like, once again, I'm going to have to bench Livramento, and I'm sure once again he's going to get another return. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Livramento's got 6 returns in his last 7 appearances. Absolutely incredible. He must be one of the top scoring defenders by now. He's only 1 point behind Diaz. Albie, how you doing? Albie says, would you get James or Rudiger? It's a bit sideways. I quite like the Rudiger pick because he's the safe one. He's the most nailed, I would say, in that defence. So I think Rudiger's... it feels very sideways to go Rudiger to James, because there could be a random game week where James is benched and Rudiger continues to play. So long term, they may end up getting similar points. Mohammed says, Captain Tony. Yeah, I was editing the Game Week 11 captains video during the Wolves game, and that'll be out tomorrow, by the way, everyone. And I was wondering whether to put Tony in there in the top 3 captain picks, but spoilers, he's not in there. I don't think you can justify Tony. I know he's got Norwich, and Norwich have been absolutely woeful defensively, but he hasn't scored since Game Week 5. So can you really captain someone who's not scored in his last 5 appearances? I'll say that now. Watch in Game Week 11, Tony gets a hat-trick or something against Norwich, but I don't know. I think there's 3 better picks, hence why Tony didn't make the 3 captain picks in tomorrow's captains video. Make sure you are subscribed if you haven't seen that. I don't know, so is it worth a 4-point loss to swap De Bruyne for Foden? Not sure on a -4 to do that. Obviously, De Bruyne doesn't look like a player worth having this season. Way too expensive, and he's playing less, and he's not looked as good. So De Bruyne is a definite sell in my books, but I don't know if I would take a -4, especially before the Manchester derby. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him start, if I'm honest, either. Like I said, Man City have got Club Brugge playing at home, so I think Pep will feel he can rotate. Maybe we'll see someone like Palmer and Gundo in midfield, something like that. Maybe De Bruyne gets rested ahead of that game, because De Bruyne, although he's dropped off, he could still show up on his day. So Yeah, I think De Bruyne plays against Man United. Shafiq says Salah again. Yeah, so this is how I currently line up for Gameweek 11, and the armband is on Salah. Vice captaincy I haven't actually changed yet. I suppose I would go vice captain Tony. Probably. I don't know if I've got the guts to put it on James, just in case Tuchel Tombola punishes us and benches him. Phil says, have you taken any hits so far? I've taken 1 hit so far. That's another thing I'm consciously trying not to do this season, is take hits. I actually keep, this is really sad, on my desktop I've got a little notepad document that I update once in a while, and it's just called FPL Lessons. And I would check back on it once in a while just to, remind myself of some of the things I've got here to keep myself in check. And some of the things I've got is have a plan and stick to it. Number 2 is hits don't pay off most of the time. It's a big gamble and most of the time a completely unnecessary one. So that's one I'm definitely bearing in mind and taking less hits, because last season I took a lot and I definitely ended up worse from it. The third one's avoid bandwagons. You can make an argument for getting on bandwagons very early in the season, like Benrahma, but long term I don't think so. What else have we got? Historical results aren't always clear evidence. You often hear people tweeting, in the reverse fixture, 4 years ago this happened. This, it's not evidence of what's going to happen again. Last season, City had scored 4 per average against West Ham, and then the next game it was 1-1. And I think the same thing happened against Burnley, didn't it? The last 4 Burnley versus City games, Burnley lost 5-0, and I forget the score, but it wasn't 5-0. It's kind of an obvious one, but it's just something I remember as well, because it's easy to read those tweets and just think, oh yeah, that's going to happen again, definitely, all in. Another one, don't rotate goalkeepers. So in my team I've got Ramsdale and Foster. I used to play with like 2 4.5 keepers, or maybe a 5 and a 4.5 keepers, but what often happens is the cheaper keepers make saves in the tough games and they get a similar amount of points anyway, and on the off chance they keep a clean sheet unexpectedly, like Ramsdale against Leicester, you miss out on a haul. So apologies anyone in chat if you did bench Ramsdale, but it's a good example of that. XG is a good measurement, but it's not always right. Leicester had an XG of 1.98 and didn't score. Ramsdale made 8 saves, so there you go, huge score from Ramsdale off the back of that. Anyway, there's loads more, but it's something I keep updated on my desktop. Annex says start 1, White, Livramento, Cancelo. Christian says thoughts on Vardy, want Kane, but Vardy fixtures look too good to sell post Chelsea. Yeah, definitely hold Vardy, don't sell him yet. Not yet. Spoiler alert, Vardy's one of the players actually that makes tomorrow's captain's video, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. That'll be out tomorrow, and then a Wednesday will be my Game Week 11 team selection video. What else have we got prepared for this stream? I did put together a few bits and bobs. I've got the Game Week 11 goal scorer data. This is courtesy of fplreview.com. And it's actually Aubameyang who's top on the goal scorer data. Obviously goal scorer odds presume that a player starts, and that is sometimes not the case, which is likely to be the case with Lukaku. I think he will still be out injured. But Aubameyang is top, 54% chance any time of a goal. Salah is close behind with a 50% chance for the West Ham game. Tony is there, 45% chance for Tony to score. Havertz, 42% chance, playing against Burnley home at Stamford Bridge. Vardy is there, 38% chance against Leeds. It is away. Leeds always a much tougher side away, admittedly, but he's a 38% chance. Kane, 36% chance. Adam Armstrong's there, 35%. And the forgotten man, Calvert-Lewin, 35% chance of a goal as well. What's the deal with Calvert-Lewin? Is he out till after the break? Such a shame. I think he scored 3 in his opening 3 games. And then he got the injury, and I don't think he's played since. Premier injuries says 21st of November, so there must be Game Week 12 or Game Week 13. So that's the goal scorer odds. I've also got the clean sheet odds here, which are as follows. As you can probably guess, Chelsea are top on the Game Week 11 clean sheet odds. 55% chance of a clean sheet for Chelsea against Burnley at Stamford Bridge. Brentford in second, 44% chance. It'd be interesting to see, like we said, what the effect of Raya being out injured is, because he's out very long term, and it's Fernandes, their second choice keeper, that's going to be playing. And obviously they conceded 3 in Gameweek 10. Arsenal 44% chance. Great news for those of us with Ramsdale, and I know some people have got White. Excuse me, I shouldn't have had a Pepsi Max before I streamed. Brighton are 4th on the clean sheet odds. Again, good news for those with Sanchez. I know some people have still got Duffy. 42% chance against against Newcastle, sorry. Crystal Palace are 5th. 33% chance of a clean sheet against Wolves. Rock bottom is Burnley. 9% chance. Is anyone in chat captaining a Chelsea fullback? Obviously the Chelsea fullbacks are absolutely hauling lately. I think I read that if you ignored all goals from, was it Chelsea strikers, and only counted the fullback goals, Chelsea would still be in the exact same position. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, the fullbacks are looking brilliant this season. Chilwell and James. Agar Hyper says, good idea to bring in Reece James before the price change. No, I don't think so. Like I was saying earlier, it's a gamble. Sometimes it pays off. You can make an early move and, you're 0.1 better off. But what are you going to do if you make the early move for James and then James gets injured in the Champions League, or any of your other 14 players in your team get injured? Obviously not all 14 have European commitments, but I'm sure at least half do. So it's a gamble. It's a gamble, and one that I don't think's worth it. And this season I've not been taking that gamble at all. I've just been playing patient, If we look at, earlier in the season I did a video on Fabio Borges. He's the greatest FPL manager of all time. And I interviewed him and asked him some questions, the secret behind his success. And one of the ones he said is he doesn't make transfers based on price changes, and he's never moved a player on or brought a player in because of a price drop or rise. And he said, if it gets to Gameweek 25 and he has to get Lukaku instead of Ronaldo, it's not a big deal to him. Those were his words. So I think there's lessons to be learned there, especially because he is the greatest player to ever play the game. Alex Ball says, what are your plans for Spurs players and the Man United players when their fixtures go green in a few weeks? So I've got 5.6 in the bank, and there's quite a few options really. At the moment I'm annoyingly 0.1 short of doing Norman to Son. So one thing I'm considering is Diaz down to Reguilon. I wouldn't actually have to start Reguilon in Gameweek 11, but I think if Conte comes in, Reguilon could end up a decent pick for that run of games. We were talking about it earlier. They've got 3 games at home in 4 games. And what that does is it gives me the money to do Norman to Son if I want to. Or the other option is it enables me to move any of my front 3 onto Kane. So that's what I'm thinking in terms of the Spurs fixtures. Maybe I'll do something like that. But yeah, not sure yet. Not sure. I think I'll see what happens with this Conte news. But yeah, the rumour is that Conte is the man coming in. A quick look at the Premier League Players Mini League. Not something we've looked at for a while, but this is from fplbot.app. And they've basically made a mini league out of all the Premier League players that play FPL. And it's actually Hamza Chowdhury who's top, followed closely by James Justin. James Justin's actually a very, very good FPL player. I know he's been out injured for a while, so maybe that's how he spent the time. Maybe he's tuned into one of these streams. But this is James Justin's rank history, if I can get it on screen in time. Game history. So as you can see, James Justin, he's actually got a decent rank history in his last 3 seasons. Top 10k last season, top 50k in the season before, and 137k the season before that. Who's rock bottom? Trent's way down there. Trent is ranked 5.2 mil. Luke Ayling got a green arrow. He's up to 5.3 mil. Ida from Norwich. A lot of Norwich players in the relegation zone here, not just in the Premier League, but in the FPL Players Mini League. He's 6.4 mil. Apparently he had Salah captain though, 63 points. Not bad, not bad. Stuart asks a very good question, and he says, is Son a better option than Kane for that run? Right now it's a very hard one to answer. However, of course, Son's been in better form this season, so in my opinion right now Son is the better of the two. But we don't know what effect the new manager will have on those Spurs attackers. You know, Conte utilised Lukaku perfectly, in my opinion, and he said this season that Tuchel wasn't utilising Lukaku to his strengths. So I think Kane would be perfect for that same role, you know, and Son would play striker as well. I guess it'd be 3-5-2, like what he's playing last season. And both Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez did exceptional for Inter. I think Lukaku won the Golden Boot, or maybe he came second. So, yeah, I think both options are very reasonable, but we'll have to see. Just trying to pull up the top scorers for Serie A under Conte. It was actually Ronaldo who got the Golden Boot. That was it. Lukaku was second. Lukaku scored 24 goals and got 9 assists. And where is he? And there he is, Martinez. He got 17 goals, 4 assists. So, you know, if we see similar numbers from Son and Kane, we'll be absolutely laughing. So let's hope so. I've got the predicted points here for Gameweek 11, courtesy of FPL Review. They don't sponsor me, but it's a very, very good website. I use it every game week. And they've got Salah top for predicted points in Gameweek 11. He's on 7.36 predicted points. Followed by Aubameyang on 6.2. Havertz is in third with 5.57 predicted points. Tony on 5.4 for the Norwich game. Son and Kane are there, towards the bottom admittedly. Kane's on 4.5 predicted points, Son is on 4.6. But obviously we're not looking at them for Game Week 11 especially, it's the fixtures beyond that. And like I was saying here, you know, from Game Week 12 onwards, Spurs have got Leeds, who've kept that single clean sheet, which was against Norwich as well. And then they've got Burnley who have not been the resolute team we've seen of them in the past. And they've got Brentford at home and Norwich at home. So 4 very good fixtures. And I think you have to have one of Son or Kane for that run. Have to. And their ownership's going to be relatively low. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if they haul against Leeds and then the ownership goes up. But you want to be making those moves before everyone's getting them in. That's how you gain the most rank, obviously. Mark says, do you play form or fixtures or a mix? Good question. I would say a mix, honestly. But I do try to factor both in. I'm not sure if I especially look at one or the other. But certainly I have players in my team that I consider fixture proof. Salah's a great example. You can captain him against anyone. So it's one less player to worry about if they're fixture proof. I think Cancelo's another one as well. Cancelo this season has been a player that I'm just happy to start in any game because he's got the attacking threat. And likewise Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's the sort of player you just start him regardless because he can get points against anyone. Balkan's up to 129k after a shocking start. He says, thank you Jimenez. Yeah, well done Jimenez owners. Got the goal tonight. I think he's going to get the 3 bonus. So well done if you own Jimenez after tonight's goal. Jimenez he's starting to tick along again like he used to back in the day. I say back in the day before his injury. Still a good option in my opinion, Jimenez. Mickey says Antonio fixture proof. Less so than the other players we just mentioned, but I would still say yes, which is why currently I'm starting him against Liverpool. And of course Liverpool, they just conceded too against Brighton. So, you know, they're not as defensively resolute as the likes of Chelsea and Man City. So I think you're okay to start him. Vasak says, try getting Son, Tyler. Yeah, if I was going to pick one between Son or Kane, I would go for Son at the moment. But I'm going to wait and see what happens in Game Week 11, because if Spurs have a new manager by then, and it tells us anything about what to expect, then that might change to Kane. But right now I'm leaning towards Son. And the other thing is, of course, Kane's 2 mil more, maybe it's about 1.9. And there wasn't much between them last season, despite Kane. I think Kane got the golden boot and the most assists, something like that. So there's not much between them. And of course, Son gets the extra point for a goal, and he gets the clean sheet point, which we hope there'll be plenty of if it is Conte that comes in. Rufus says, thoughts on Ben Johnson, 3.9 and starter at West Ham. He's been a starter. I wouldn't say you can continue to expect him to start, because the only reason he's been starting is because Soufal was out injured. And if I'm not mistaken, Soufal was back from his injury in Game Week 10 and made the bench. So I don't think Johnson's a nailed pick at all. You could have him as bench fodder, but even then there's some really, really good cheap defenders. So I don't think Johnson's worth getting. Thousand subscribers says, Gray and Sarr replacements. I still think Smith Rowe is a very, very reasonable option. I believe he's 5.6 now. Yeah. In great form. Over his last 5 games, he's got 3 goals and 2 assists. So 5 goal contributions in those 5 games. He's only 5.6, so an easy sideways move. And Boomo, if he's back, I still think he'll be a good option. Who else? Rafinha, I still think is a very good option. So I put together a little bit of data here on the XG Underachievers and the Overachievers in Game Week 11. And it was the troll, of course. Harvey Barnes was the biggest XG Underachiever in Game Week 10. He had an XG of 0.83, failed to score. Armstrong as well. He had an XG of 0.74, but no goal. Evans from Leicester there again. Leicester, of course, had an XG of 1.98 and failed to score. Bowen's there. He had an XG of 1.45 and he scored just the 1 goal. So still a big XG underperformance. And I've also got the XG Overachievers, and this is quite incredible, this. These are the XG Overachievers for Game Week 11. And Reece James had an XG of 0.17 and he scored twice. So that's an XG over performance of 1.83. So I'm not going to pretend, that basically what I'm saying is I got lucky, right? It was a lucky game week because James got the 2 goals from me, the clean sheet, and also Smith Rowe here. He had a goal with an XG of 0.08. So I've got both of them to thank for my rank, if I'm honest. Certainly luck was on my side in Game Week 10. Do you think Armstrong is worth starting for this game week? Yeah, I do. I've seen some of the highlights and Armstrong actually looked very good, linking up well with Che Adams, so I think Armstrong starts again, and I think he's a very reasonable option. And of course Aston Villa have not been the same defensive side that we've seen from them even just last season. I think they conceded 3, didn't they, Game Week 10? So I think Armstrong's worth a start, yes. Mido says, Rudiger and James, thoughts? Yeah, I like the double up, I really do. I think they're both great picks. Rudiger's your safe one. Should start probably 9 out of 10 games, maybe more. And then James is your high ceiling pick, but I think in current form, he has to keep playing him. Jerome says, oh, come on, Reece James. That's ridiculous overperformance. It is absolutely bonkers overperformance. I saw both his goals, and his finishing is just incredible at the moment. He hits the ball so cleanly. He hits the ball like a veteran striker. I'm sure they've been practicing it in training, considering how much the Chelsea defenders have been scoring. Chilwell's on 3 goals, James is on 4. Astonishing. Toby says, what if Brozier comes back this week? I still think there's a strong chance that Armstrong starts based on his performance. He had a very good game. His movement was brilliant. He created chances. He set up a chance on an absolute plate for Adams, which he missed. Adams should have scored, and it should have been another assist for Armstrong. And as we saw there from the XG Underachievers, Armstrong actually should have had a goal, or thereabouts, you know, based on the data, and he didn't, of course. So I think Armstrong starts again. I do think he does, along with Adams. They could even become the first choice strikers. I think Armstrong's had his benching. He's had his lesson, and I'm not even sure if Broja's back or not. What does Premier Injuries say? It says potential return 5th of November, so he's 50-50 for Gameweek 11. And then, of course, we've got the international break, annoyingly. So if possible, guys, go into the international break with 2 transfers. I know it's common sense to many people, but if you can, it's good practice to go into that break with 2 transfers, because there's a lot of football played over the international breaks, and we do get unexpected injuries, so you want to have those transfers to navigate that. Unless, of course, you're one of those that still has your wildcard, but I don't think there's many of us left. Anyone in chat still got their wildcard left? Those that watch the series on my channel on the top 100 all-time FPL managers may have seen the segment on the chip usage. And 92% of the 100 best ever FPL managers have used their wildcards, so just 8% have got it left. And of course, we don't get our second wildcard till I think it's Gameweek 20, so we're only halfway to getting our second one. But many of us have used it. Spicy says, keep Rafinha against Leicester, thinking of bringing in Tielemans. No, I'd keep Rafinha, definitely. I think Rafinha is an easy hold for me. Leicester have been leaking goals as well. They've not been very good defensively, so I'm happy to hold Rafinha for that game. Toby still got his. He's thinking a wild card in game week 15 or 16. What's the thinking for those game weeks, Toby? Are you looking at the Man United fixture swings? Let's go back to the ticker here. Game week 15. So Man United have Palace, Norwich, Brentford. Yeah, okay. Yeah, interesting. You're looking at Ronaldo. Ronaldo's just not been worth the 12.5, is he? So far. I remember I did the interview with Fabio Borges, who was the greatest ever FPL manager. I've mentioned him a couple of times, but he said he's not getting Ronaldo and he doesn't think Ronaldo's worth it. And it turns out he was dead right, so far anyway. He's not justified the price tag. Maybe he will from that game week onwards. And I went without Ronaldo as well. And of course he had 3 goals in his first 2 games. And I was like, oh no, what have I done? But yeah, it wasn't too bad in the end. Thank you so much, everyone has tuned in so far. If you have enjoyed this stream, do hit like. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I appreciate you all. Chris Yang says, what's your overall target rank this season? So my target going into the season was top 10k. You know, there's still a very, very long way to go, and I could easily slide back. It happens to everyone. So, you know, this early, I'm not taking anything for granted, but it's, yeah, I won't lie, it's a good position to be in. I'm happy to be at this rank. JD says, sold Ronaldo for Vardy at the weekend. Oh, nightmare, mate, nightmare. I did wonder if Ronaldo would finally get something, because United needed a response, and Solskjaer always seems to find a way to get something when he needs it most, and lo and behold, Ronaldo got the goal and the assist. Time Vader says, do you think James is a good pick? If that's Reece James, yeah, I do, definitely. If it's Dan James from Leicester, then it's a hard no. Mickey says, your target at this point is to win. Nah, surely not. I don't know if I can set my target that high. Imagine though. Oh, it'd be a dream come true. That would be incredible. It's just so mathematically unlikely. So much has to go perfectly for you. And I don't think anyone has been, you know, as high as I am now and then gone on to win it. Or maybe they have, but certainly no one's been in first place and held first place for the remainder of the season from this early. You know, we're just barely past a quarter way through the season, so there's a long way to go. Dideric says, why do you have 5.6 million in the bank? Are you cashing out? I would if I could. If I could trade money for points, I'd be tempted. That would be interesting. I don't know if 5.6 would be worth 6 points or not. Probably not. Jerome says, Diaz bench this week. Potentially, yeah. My bench isn't in the right order, actually. I suppose Diaz would be there. I'm thinking about it. The problem is, I've got 2 transfers, and where do you even go from here with 2 transfers? You know, I'm tempted to burn a transfer for possibly the first time ever. Yeah, it's not clear where I go from here right now. I'm happy to keep hold of Armstrong. Could do Armstrong to Jimenez, but I think I'm okay with Armstrong, because if he does continue to start, then that Norwich game in Gameweek 12 looks very good. So I'm thinking about Diaz to Chilwell or Diaz to Reguilon, something like that perhaps. And like I say, that gives me the money to do Norman all the way up to Son, or any of the front 3 to Kane, or Lukaku or Ronaldo. You know, I'd have a lot of options if I do that. So that's where I currently am. But yeah, there's not really a standout transfer in my team right now, which I don't like. You know, when I've got 1 free transfer, I'm happy to be in that position, because you just roll the transfer and then you know, you've got 2 for the next week. But when you've got 2 transfers and there's not a clear transfer, it's a bit of a frustrating position in a way, because it's like, what do? You don't want to burn a transfer, really. Rasmus says Diaz to Chilwell. Yeah, maybe. There was another tweet. Let me see if I can find it. Bear with. Let's get up the old Twitter. Someone posted on Twitter earlier today. This was it. So last time Chelsea played against Burnley, Alonso started over Chilwell. Chilwell wasn't out of form or anything like that. He wasn't playing poorly. Tuchel basically said, we had the reason. It was not because we were unhappy with Chilwell, but we opted for more size to defend set pieces. So Alonso got the nod last time they faced each other, because Burnley are obviously a tall, very physical side. So, you know, if Chilwell starts in the Champions League, then perhaps Alonso gets the nod for the Burnley game. We'll see. I'm speculating, but that's what happened last time, and there is some logic. You know, if it worked last time round, maybe they'll be tempted to do the same again. Marshmallow says Armstrong to an expensive forward. No, that's an option as well. So I could do Armstrong or Antonio or Tony to Vardy, someone like that. But which forward, right? I could go to Vardy, but I might want Kane in a week, and I've locked myself out of that, or I'm just going to be moving him straight on. So I don't know if I want to commit this early. You know, Lukaku could be back as well on a potential option. So not totally clear where I want to go with the strikers, and they've all got good fixtures. They're all playing at home. I suppose Antonio's not a great fixture, but happy to start him, and I don't really want to sell Antonio right now. His underlying numbers are still good enough to keep hold. Yanan says, hey Focal, do I go Sanchez to Ramsdale, or is it too sideways? No, I'd keep hold of Sanchez, unless you're in a really luxury position where you've got nothing else to do. But keep hold of Sanchez, in my opinion. You know, Sanchez could easily outscore Ramsdale long term. Mickey says, James will play over Aspi versus Burnley because he's more physical. Yeah, fair point. Or we see Azpilicueta playing in the right side of the back 3, which is obviously the other option. Azpilicueta can play in both positions. But yeah, it's a good point. Maybe we'll see, imagine that, another Azpilicueta bench him. Spicy Queen says, then again, Leeds haven't been great defensively. Oh, did I miss the first message? But yeah, you're right. Leeds haven't been great defensively. Their only clean sheet of the season came against Norwich. And Norwich are rock bottom in the league for expected goals scored. So you can barely count it, right? Everyone's keeping clean sheets against Norwich. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see Leeds leaking a couple of goals again against Leicester. Vardy could well be among the goals. Spoilers, Vardy is one of the players that makes the top 3 captain picks. That video is out tomorrow. Ibrahim says Conte to Spurs is confirmed. Is that true? Where are you seeing that? It looks like Fabrizio has tweeted it. Let's get the old Fabrizio. Here we go, tweet up. Antonio to Tottenham, confirmed, and here we go. The contract until June 2023 will be signed on Tuesday. The verbal agreement is now completed. He's back in the Premier League. They wanted him since June and changed his mind. Incredible work. There we go. Conte's back. It's basically gospel coming from Fabrizio. What do we think of that, chat? Good to have him back. But the Premier League's so stacked now. My God. So stacked. The managers we've got. The quality of the management and the players and the teams. But he's back. And we talked about this at the start of the stream. Obviously, I mean, we've come full circle because we were talking at the start of the stream about how Nuno was sacked. And while we've been live, Fabrizio says Conte's back. Yeah, we were talking about the potential implications that has on Spurs. Obviously, the significant one is that there'll be a formation change. He'll almost certainly play a 3 at the back, his tried and tested formation, which would mean Reguilon in left wing back, which is great because he'll be further forward. And we've seen that he can get assists. Last season he got 6, I think. I think he's got a couple this season. And obviously the new signing Emerson Royale. How much is Emerson, guys? Is he the same price as Reguilon? I can't remember if he's 5 or 4.5. I think he's 5. But he'll be playing a right wing back. So both of them could become very appealing options very soon. Something to keep an eye on. And like I said earlier, one of the moves I'm considering is Diaz to Reguilon. To jump on those fixtures, but also to enable a second Spurs option. Can't believe I'm saying it, but I might be going for a double up of Spurs as soon as Gameweek 12. It could be Son in for Norman in Gameweek 12. That's where I'm leaning. I'll probably make one transfer for Gameweek 11, and then we've got the international break, and then I'll make a move or two for Gameweek 12. Stuart says, rest in peace, Dele Alli. You don't reckon he'll play? Hriday says, what's the thing with Matip? Will he play? Not sure, to be honest. Not sure why he missed out. Was it because... I think it was because Matip played in the Champions League against Atletico, and I don't think he can be trusted to be playing week in, week out. So maybe that's why Konate came in. But I couldn't tell you whether Konate starts or not. I suppose they did concede 2, so very possible that Matip comes back in. Mickey says I can get Kane and Son in for a hit worth it. I think it might be a week too early, but hard to say. I think it's a wait and see situation right now. It sounds like Conte's first game in charge will be Game Week 11, which of course we've been discussing throughout this stream, but you know, I think it's a wait and see. Maybe we'll see how they line up, what the new manager bounce is like, but certainly I would expect a new manager bounce. He's a fantastic manager, world-class manager. And of course he won Serie A. Is that what it's called? Serie A? I've just gone blank. It is Serie A. Yeah, Serie A in Italy with Inter Milan. And of course that's an incredible feat because Juventus had won it for so many years on the bounce. So that's just testament to what a great manager he is. And like I was saying earlier, I did have a very brief look at the Golden Glove in Serie A, just because I was interested to see whether he was still the same defensive manager in Serie A. And I've just found it here actually. So Handanovic played 37 games and he get 15 clean sheets. So 40% of his games were clean sheets. So yeah, testament to what a great manager he is. So yeah, he could really turn them around. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. And the results, the fixtures turn perfectly, in my opinion. Perfect timing. back. Let's get the Spurs fixtures up here. So yeah, Reguilon's a player I'm considering. Gameweek 11, they've got Everton away, which is going to be a tough game, definitely. But, you know, like I say, these fixtures couldn't fall into place any more perfectly for those of us that play the game. Because Gameweek 11, you know, it's going to be a tough game away against Everton. We'll wait and see. No rush. You don't have to get them in now. Let's see how they do against Everton. If they look great, then I think it's reasonable to jump on them as early as Gameweek 12. Leeds at home, very good game. Burnley away, good game. Another 2 home games against Brentford and Norwich. 3 home games in 4 from Gameweek 12 onwards. So could be a very ahead of the curve pick for those of us that are looking for ahead of the curve picks to move up the ranks. Nate says Doherty's washed up. Emerson is a much better player. Yeah, I agree. I think Doherty's probably going to be played in other competitions. I don't think he'll be first choice, certainly not. I think it's going to be Reguilon and Emerson in wing back. I believe Sessegnon is out injured or on loan or something. Oh, here he is. Knock. Oh, what's happened there? Knock unknown return date, yeah. I think he's also capable of playing in left wing back, but I don't think we'll see that. I think it's going to be Reguilon completely nailed there. Maybe Davies as backup. John says Jimenez or Antonio, who to bench Gameweek 11? Ideally, you want to start both, in my opinion. I do think Antonio can get something from that game, but Antonio would be the one I bench. Thank you everyone that has tuned into this stream. We've got 230 viewers, which I think is a record for the stream, so thank you so much for that. If you are enjoying the stream, do hit like, and do of course subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I post 4 videos every week. I post one on the top 100 all-time FPL managers, which is one of my favourite ones to edit. The criteria is you need 7 top 10k finishes or 4 top 1k finishes. And basically I just track the team selections, the transfers they make, the chip usage, how they're currently ranking, and I get one of them on each week for an interview. The other video I do each week is the captains. So the captains video will be out tomorrow. And then on Wednesday will be my Gameweek 11 team selection. Thursday is the roundup. The roundup's kind of an overview of various bits of information to take into each game week, like the goal scorer odds, clean sheet odds, top predicted points, the results from my captaincy poll, etc. So that's a very useful one. Lots of good metrics in that video. And then if I can, I do the odd stream like this one here, and perhaps a Gameweek 11 deadline stream as well on Friday. Might be a bit overkill. That'll be will that be, hang on, will that be 6 straight days of videos? It's a bit much, isn't it? Becoming a full-time job. That is the dream, by the way. I'd love to do YouTube full-time. I've played FPL for 10 years now, but I only started making videos this year. My mate convinced me to do it as a lockdown hobby. Some of you probably know this story already, but I started making videos this year as a lockdown hobby. Just as something to do, really, with all the extra time I had on my hands. And yeah, I ended up, enjoying it more than I ever imagined. And it's really, really fun to kind of grow a community, seeing the sub count go up, seeing videos get views, get great feedback. A few days ago, my first ever video to hit 100k views was the one on the biggest FPL score of all time, which was set back in 2015-16. When one guy got 226 points in one game week. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed doing this, and it's really cool that you're all here for another stream in such record numbers. So thank you for that. Tom Moran says, how TF am I only just finding you, dude? 122nd, that's mental sub. Thanks for the sub, Tom. I mean, to be fair, like I said earlier, it was quite a fortunate game week. James scored twice, and he had a very low XG. Smith Rowe scored with a very low XG, so there was quite some overperformance from some of my players. But yeah, I'm absolutely delighted to be where I am. After tonight's game, I think I'll drop to about rank 300, to be honest. But that'll be yeah, I'll go through that on my Gameweek 11 team selection video, which will be out on Wednesday. I'll briefly talk about how the game week went. I'll just quickly bring it back to my points for this game week so you can see that. But yeah, this team will be on Wednesday's video. I'll quickly talk about how the game week went, and then of course I'll talk about the game week 11 team selection. So I need to decide what I'm doing between now and then. One Beanie says, if you haven't heard, by the way, Fabrizio Romano said Conte confirmed. Yeah, we were talking about that literally just now. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see the implications that it has on Spurs and the potential players that we might want. And like I was saying, the fixtures couldn't fall any perfectly for us. This is the fixture ticker. And game week 11, like we're saying, they've got Everton away, which is a tough game. And certainly a good game to watch and wait and see. And decide if we want players from Spurs or whether they need longer before we consider them. But if we do want them, then game week 12, Leeds at home, Burnley away, Brentford at home, Norwich at home, Brighton away. Absolutely great run of fixtures. And I'm already considering a double up. I might go for Reguilon and Son, Reguilon and Kane. Vi says, I'd say Smith Rowe on current form. Yeah, Smith Rowe is the man in form. He's taken up great positions. It was a big XG over performance in game week 10, but looks like a great player to have for only 5.6. I think he's on 3 goals and 2 assists. So certainly it's his breakout season. And I've just had flashbacks actually. I've just had some PTSD. Those that have been subbed to me for a bit longer will know last season that I had Smith Rowe, and he was only 4.2 last season. And you know, I'm an Arsenal fan for better or worse, and I picked him up for 4.2 because I knew he had it in him to haul. But I benched him one week when he got something like 13 points. It was the same as what happened here in game week 9. I benched him and he got 13 points on my bench. So yeah, flashbacks to that. But this season I've caught his points perfectly. One Beanie says, should I keep Rudiger or James? Need money to get Son. I would keep them both. I wouldn't look to move either on right now. Give it a week and then decide. Chris says Gallagher or Smith Rowe. That's a tough one. I'm trying not to let my Arsenal bias creep in as well, but I'd go Smith Rowe. Very good fixture in game week 11. Watford at home. Liverpool away is tough, but because he's so cheap, you can easily have other players to rotate in. You know, in my case, I could rotate Diaz or Livramento in game week 12 when Smith Rowe has Liverpool if I wanted to bench him at all. So if anyone's not in our Discord, I have to recommend that as well. I can't do a stream without recommending the Discord. There's a link to that in the description. Let me just pull up on the screen. Genuinely good FPL resource. I'll just quickly run through some of the things it's got. So it's got the price changes, it's got the lineups. All of this is automated by a bot, so perfect for me, by the way, because I've just got back from a holiday in Dublin. I didn't even have to do anything. The bots ran the server for me. We've got the live points, the bonus points, so you got the provisional points for tonight's game. So it looks like Jimenez gets 2 bonus. So well done, Jimenez owners. We've got the game week stats, so that's things like the most captain, chip usage. We've got the injury updates, top 10k stats. Insider trading, this is a great one. This shows the transfers that players and staff at clubs make. Tarkowski, by the way, had an absolute great game week. He transferred in Wood, who I believe scored. Although I've just seen he actually sold Ronaldo, so I take that back. Unlucky Tarkowski, maybe not. We've got the news. Got the transfer trends. We kind of touched on that earlier, the transfers. James and Smith Rowe were the 2 most transferred in. New players. Oh, Tosin's back, is he, for Everton? Okay, interesting. 5 mil. Don't think he'll get many minutes. I guess he's third choice after Calvert-Lewin and Rondon. Disaster class. So this is things like the red cards, penalty misses, etc. Deadline alerts. And a new one, actually, a new game here, Kings of the Game Week. This is one that I created last game week, and it's quite fun. You just basically pick a player who you think is going to be the highest scorer that game week. And if you get it correct, then you get a little exclusive server role and a nice blue username, so that's fun. And someone did guess James, who I believe is the king of Game Week 11. Game Week 10, sorry. So well done to that man. Spicy Queen says, thoughts on Leicester midfielders? There aren't any that tempt me right now. I know Tielemans been doing fairly well, but I think the likes of Smith Rowe and Rafinha I like more. Or if you can stretch your budget, then Foden looks like a very good option still, despite his blank in Game Week 10. And to be fair, Laporte got the red card in the first half, so City were down a man. Pratik asks, what website is this? That's our Discord. So there's a link in the Discord. Sorry, there's a link to the Discord in the description. We've got about 3,500 members as well, so it's a great little community. It has its moments, I have to say, but we've got a nice mod team as well to help with that. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but we've got Vi in the chat, who is one of the mods. So shout out to him for helping run the Discord, especially, like I was saying, I just got back from Dublin. That's the Discord there. Adam says, do you think Smith Rowe can continue his goal scoring form? I certainly wouldn't expect him to be putting up these double-digit hauls consistently, but yeah, I think for 5.6 he justifies his price tag and he's good value. Like I was saying, Watford at home, great fixture. Watford haven't kept a clean sheet all season. Easy. You have to start him for that. Liverpool away, tough game. You may want to bench him, but for 5.6 you can easily afford other players to rotate in. Like I said, Livramento's got a good fixture. Newcastle at home, Game Week 13. You know, and if you want to bench him for Game Week 14 onwards, then you certainly can. Oops, someone tagged me on Discord. Let me mute that. But for 5.6, you know, it's not the end of the world if you have to bench him for a week or two. Oh, did I paste the link wrong? Oh, I missed the J off it. My bad. Alright, there we go. Let me do that again. That's the link. George says, I'm an Arsenal fan and I brought in Elise over Smith Rowe as a punt for Game Week 11. I'm regretting it already. Oh, you should have backed the Arsenal boys. We're looking back in form after that horrendous start to the season. Jack says, Chilwell or James? Good question. I think at the moment James just edges it, but really it's a bit of a coin toss. They both look like first choice, but obviously Alonso's a very, very good option as well in left wing back. As for Laqueta, less so in right wing back, so I think James just edges it on that. But it's very, very tough to predict them. You know, the game week before it was Chilwell who hauled, so it goes either way. Asher, how you doing? He says, Jimenez saved my game week. Congratulations. Glad he got you, was it a goal and 3 bonus I think he got tonight? Yeah, well played. Zyphia says, Conte in time for Reguilon. Yeah, I do think Reguilon or Emerson will emerge as good options, but it's a bit early now. The fixtures do turn very favourably very soon, so I think Game Week 11 is an easily wait and see. Then we've got the international break, and then we could consider them for Game Week 12 onwards when they play Leeds at home, and then they've got a couple more home fixtures in the weeks that follow. If anyone's tuning in late to this stream, I'll try and add timestamps to the description of the video. I add timestamps to every stream, just in case anyone wants to jump around, because I do a lot of rambling. And we did touch a few talking points on this stream, so that will be there as well for anyone that does want to jump around. Anna on Block says, Diaz to James. Diaz seems to have a low ceiling. He does have a low ceiling, and of course he's had a couple of blanks in a row now, which is disappointing, so I do think that's a decent move. I do like it. I'm considering Diaz to Chilwell myself, or maybe Reguilon. X Kezin says, what's your rank in the world? So at the time of going live it was 122nd. I think it still says it on the app. Yeah, I'm still 122nd on the app, but my live rank will certainly drop after tonight's game because I didn't have anyone from Wolves or Everton playing. I think, yeah, my rank is 323rd, which is still a green arrow. I was 1.5k heading into this game week. but now I am 323rd overall. Can't complain really, can I? Chris Yang says, thoughts on Coca-Cola? That's an excellent question, actually. One of the best ones we've had this stream. I do like a Coca-Cola, but I am a Pepsi Max guy. It's a bit bad, actually, because I've got my own place, so it's just me and the dog who's asleep over there. And I order my groceries off Amazon because they deliver it. It's crazy, by the way. You order, you know, at 10 AM and they'll deliver your groceries by 1 PM. And I know Amazon haven't got a great reputation, but it's so convenient. And every time I order my groceries, I'll get 2 6-packs of Pepsi Max. I think I'm addicted. Zyphia says, love your vids, mate. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Kezan says, Pepsi Max is the way, to be honest. Yeah, Pepsi Max. Cherry's my favourite at the moment. I don't mind a regular Pepsi Max either. Connor says, dude, what's the music you're playing? This is by Harris Heller, he's called. And really, really cool guy, by the way. He makes copyright-free music for people to use on streams. So massive shout out to Harris Heller. And this song's called The Hydra. All the music on my streams is from Harris Heller. And his copyright-free playlists. I cannot tell you, by the way, I've had a few comments on videos before about the song in my videos, and you know that they really like the song, and I cannot tell you how many hundreds of copyright free songs I listened to before I finally landed on that one, because I think it's actually incredibly important having a good background sound. Of course you could just do a video without any background sound at all, but I quite like having music in the background. So that's my excellent story on the music. Kizza says, you're 174th in the world, Oscar. Am I? I thought I dropped about 300th after tonight's game. I mean, either way, I can't complain. I'm absolutely happy with that. Christian says, I've got 2 frees, but don't really want to make a move. Burn one, or make a long-term pick, potentially worse for the game week. Not if it's potentially worse, you know, you're better off just burning it. Connor says, I got Alonso, he got 0. So will Omabame Dele for Norwich, he got 10 come in, or Henry for Brentford, he got 1. It depends on the order of your bench. So you can see here, just underneath my bench, you got 1, 2, 3, and that's the order that they come in. And they only come in if, of course, it's a formation that you can play. So, you know, I'm playing 3-4-3 next week. And if I had Norman first on my bench, who's a midfielder, and Cancelo doesn't play, then that doesn't mean Norman comes in. It would mean Diaz comes in, because it has to be a formation that can actually be played in the game. So, if Omabame Dele is further along your bench than Henry, i.e. further left on your bench, then yeah, he comes in. And in which case, well played, by the way. Congrats on the 10 points. Zyphia benched the Gallagher Hall. Very unlucky. I think I probably would have benched him as well. Yeah, commiserations to the Gallagher owners, but I think I would have done the same thing, if it makes you feel any better. Oh, he does come in. Nice one, Connor. Well played. Diderick says, I got 1 transfer and 2 mil in the bank. Feel free to drop your team in the chat, and I'll do my best to make a suggestion, but I do sometimes miss chat messages, admittedly. He's second, Henry third. Perfect. So Omabame Dele comes off your bench. RJ10 says, what gives edge over bonus for defense, attack, midfield, other than score and assist? Nothing really. I think in defense, it's easier to pick a value pick. Trent's a really, really good value pick because he gets so many attacking returns plus lots of clean sheets. So you can consider him a very good value pick. You know, if you imagine a midfielder for 7.5, who got you 4 goals and 15 assists, you'd say that's pretty good for a midfielder for 7.5. when you factor in that he gets the extra points for goals, he gets the clean sheets, etc., he's a very high value pick. So I think defence is a good place to look for value. Other than that, I think I do think midfield is better to go big than forwards. Especially this season, there's so many good value forwards. And you look at my front three, I've got Armstrong, Tony and Antonio. And, all three of them could haul easily. And in midfield, Salah, obviously, no-brainer to own. And I've got loads in the bank, so I could pick up Son as well, who's another premium midfielder. I can't see the team, Didrik. Alexander says, thoughts on keeping Cancelo or opting for James and Chilwell? I think for now you hold Cancelo. I believe he's still the highest scoring defender in the game, unless someone's overtaken him. So I think you hold Cancelo for now. Oh, Kizza brought in Chilwell for James. Unfortunate, Kizza. I have to say that's quite a sideways move though. I think something you have to ask yourself when you're making transfers is this a sideways move? And I think that is the definition of sideways. I don't think it gets any more sideways than that. If you were going Saka down to Smith Rowe, for example, you could at least make the case that Smith Rowe's cheaper and he's had more attacking returns, even though it's still relatively sideways. But, one wing back for the other is very sideways. AMG says, Tony for captain. Personally, no. Obviously, he's got Norwich, who are leaking goals. They've been very, very poor defensively, but I don't think captain. I'm going to go Salah anyway. I think it's difficult to overlook Salah. 10 goals and 7 assists in 10 games. The most in-the-form player in the world right now. Incredible form. It's been said a lot, isn't it? Everyone's saying he's the best player in the world right now. And I do agree. Nashlin asks, who to captain? So tomorrow, at about 11 AM, my Gameweek 11 captains video will be posted. And I've shortlisted 3 videos on that video, as always. Shortlisted 3 options, on that video. So stick around for that. Subscribe if you're not already. That will be out tomorrow. Obviously, Salah's one of the options. Just checking the results of my COVID test. But I just got back from Dublin, like I was saying, so I thought I'd better do a COVID test because tomorrow I'm in the office. Tuesday is the only day I work in the office. And good news, it's negative. I don't have COVID and I'm not pregnant, if it is a pregnancy test. Neil says, how about Chilwell or James for captain? Yeah, it's a little bit risky. Either could be benched and either could make a cameo if they are benched, but yeah, not the worst picks. I think we had the expected points earlier. Let me find that again. This is from FPL Review, and I think it's a very, very good tool for picking captains based on the predicted points. And they do have Salah top. James and Chilwell are there. They make the top 10 for predicted points, but it is Salah top. Aubameyang, interesting one. Havertz is there. Havertz could still do very well in Lukaku's absence. He's got a point to prove, otherwise I can easily see him being rotated like he was pre-Lukaku's injury. Fan says, should I transfer Maxwell Cornet? I haven't admittedly watched much Burnley, so I can't really comment on Cornet. I know he's in excellent form, but I think I prefer Smith Rowe and Rafinha right now for that similar price range. And Mbumo potentially as well, but he's only just back from injury. Spicy Queen asks captaincy options apart from Salah. Yeah, those that appeared on that list of expected points, all of those very feasible options. But my 3 recommended picks will be in tomorrow's captain's video, so make sure you're subscribed for that, everyone. I'm having loads of fun doing this stream, but I'm conscious that I'm up super early for work, so I think I have to show some discipline and call it a night. Unfortunately, guys, as much as I'd love to stick around, finally, thank you again so much everyone has tuned into the stream. It's been a very enjoyable stream. Great to see such a good turnout, and if you're watching this on catch up, then thank you for that as well. Before I go, everyone, please do hit like on the video, and of course subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Like I said, tomorrow is going to be the Gameweek 11 captains video. Wednesday is going to be my Gameweek 11 team selection. Thursday will be the Gameweek 11 roundup video. And then if I can squeeze it in, I'll do a deadline stream on Friday. But for now, everyone, it is a good night from me, and thank you so much for tuning in.